Thank you for playing.
Certainly.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So I didn't get to meet you before you got to play. So this is our first meeting. Live TV. Woo! So I wrote down some questions.
Sure.
Sort of. One of the things, the first thing that I like to read how people describe themselves on their websites. It's always interesting to me. Or sometimes they have a friend write it if they're totally terrified of their own ego. But that'd be me. But it said, her music combines electronic, folk, and goth influences. And I've realized when I read that you never hear people say, or you rarely hear people say folk and goth in the same breath. And I was
since the 90s.
yeah, well, yeah, true, very true, actually. What am I thinking of? Throwing Muses, maybe, which is also punk too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wanted to hear a little bit about what that means to you, like blending folk
Sure.
and goth.
It's actually, you know, I'm originally from Chicago, so I have like, hip hop is like in the water there. And so that's kind of my foundation, but then my spirit is like somewhere at a Renaissance festival. So, and then somewhere The Cure mixes into all that, so that's kind of how it all comes together for me.
Yeah, well, the performer, I feel like Robert Smith is such a performer. You know, it's not about the music. It is about the music, totally, but it's also about like where he totally puts on this persona, you know, that is really. I can see you doing that too, which is beautiful. And another way that I saw that, which was a thing that I really wanted to talk about. I mean, I want to talk about Shepherdess too, but I wanted to talk about. I saw that the videos that I watched on the site, and I get really amped about people having videos because I'm 33, and when I grew up, I grew up in the suburbs, and one of the only ways I was ever even allowed to know about music, because the radio stations were all terrible, was watching MTV. And especially if you stayed up really late, 1, 2 in the morning, they started playing the stuff they were taking a chance on, and you just saw some of the craziest stuff you've ever seen in your life, and it really was my only way to go, oh my God, you can do that? You can do that? And it's not only okay, like people like it. You know, that's great, like watching like Tori Amos videos and like stuff like that when you're, you know, 11 years old. And so now I feel like it's not so much that the music video has become a lost art, although we are sort of reclaiming it, because then the station chose and you saw, and it was a status thing. Did you get to have a music video or not? And now you can make a music video if you want to. Some people do, some people don't, for their own reasons. So like, what are your reasons? And I noticed the videos were all different. They had different directors, right?
They did.
Yeah.
You know, visual aesthetics, they tell a story. It's like a vignette, right? So you have that opportunity to convey sort of your inner spiritual world, or my inner spiritual world of the music, and that's a way to interpret that. So I like to do that in a lush way, and I've always been attracted to things with water.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's just, you know, and it's more of an intuitive thing. It's not like I consciously go, let's put water in this, but it just happens. And there's a wonderful woman named Cook Teflon, and she does great saturated coloring, and she's done a couple of my videos. She did the Swan Initiative in the Bell. And then I had a really good friend of mine, Joseph Patrick Gray, use these crazy, like, computer meshing of 2 old films with some filters, and he did one called In This Tree. So I just love to work with other artists who have these wonderful visions of things, and to be able to collaborate with them together.
And when you're working with various like different directors, how much you were talking about, it's not like a conscious thing, you go and you say, we're going to do it at the ocean, but like, how, is it a really close relationship? Do you let them take the reins more? Do you try and take the reins? I mean,
well, you know, I always kind of look at what I do as making a quilt, so I pull in these different patches based on like a particular concept. So like with Shepherdess, I was addressing my inner spiritual guide through that process of healing. And so I would select an artist based on the type of song. Like, so for Swan Initiative in particular, it's all about making a change, a conscious change. So I love the way Cook had taken a combination of like a woman floating through the forest, and then there's the house, and then there's these trees. And so there's these things that are stationary, and then she kind of meshes this woman who's just like floating through it and transitioning.
That goes perfectly with the lyrics, I think. It's really,
yeah, she worked really hard at it. She's wonderful. I was really grateful to have that opportunity for her to interpret that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like it was just mimicking the lyrics completely, but it's reflecting it without it doing it literally.
Right. And I had seen, you know, she's also a doll maker. She's a really interesting artist. And so when I had seen her video and her projections and her photographs and her dolls, and I thought, oh, this woman would get it, totally. And then when we had a conversation and she did it, so.
Are you going to keep
easy.
doing the music videos?
I love doing it, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. I'm hoping to have one out in the near future with, by artist China Star, who's out of Olympia, so.
Cool, okay, so let's see, I also, videos, and then there was another thing that I read on the website which I really liked. It said recording in an assortment of weird and wonderful places, including a seaplane port, church, a boathouse, warehouse with 6-second reverb, and an old school from the 1900s. So, but then it didn't, which is not a criticism, but I loved that, obviously. But I was wondering, like, so why, how, and what is that like?
You mean to work in all those different places?
Yeah, I mean, is it because of the recording sounds? Are you recording there, or what's going on there?
It starts with the core basis, like, of what I was saying. Like, so originally I'm from Chicago, right? So I have, like, this hip-hop and blues base of where I'm from, but, like, my spirit's in the Renaissance Festival, right? So, like, I've got the auto harp, and we got the violin and cellos, and I sample old fairy tale records. And so it's an opportunity for me to bring all these things together. So a school has kind of quirky sounds, having that kind of reverb that pulls out with the sustain. It's just an opportunity to bring more of that quilt together. And I have a lot of really awesome people helping me.
What was your favorite so far of all those locations that you've done this in?
Oh, that's really hard.
Yeah.
Oh, God. The seaplane port was pretty awesome. That was
the most curious to me on the list.
Well, I practiced for a while in a boathouse down over by, I think it was on East Lake. And it was crazy. When there was a storm, we would be playing, and then when the storm kind of went and the water would move, you'd kind of slide one way and slide the other way.
Yeah, that sounds both frustrating and excellent at the same time.
Exactly. Like, the drummer was not happy about the scenario, but I was pretty excited about it. But I like thunderstorms and stuff, so yeah. It kind of came from that. So it was more like, oh, why don't we just do it? We're here. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't plan a thunderstorm, but if it's there,
exactly.
You got it.
Exactly.
It's kismet.
All about the kismet.
Yeah. So let's see. You've been doing a lot of gigging. Tons.
I am. So we've been on a tour, and we're on a tour till the end of November. And what we're doing basically is going 2 to 3 shows a weekend.
Yeah, I was, when I saw the list, I was like, oh, she's just not sleeping or eating. She's just gigging constantly.
No, it's a blast. I had a release come out called Shepherdess at the end of June, and so I'm just out playing that and having a really good time. I love playing, so yeah. So
what's your next show coming up?
Oh, I think it's Portland next week.
Okay.
At the Firkin with the Harvey Girls, I think is the next one.
All right. Yeah, and
I have a lot going on. I have to, like, at this point look.
The list was really long. Yeah. Let's see. Flatfieldrecords.com. Yeah. You can get Shepherdess, the new release, $9.99 on CD.
And they're handmade.
Ooh.
And they have dried flowers and fabric, and they smell pretty good.
Ooh. So. And they smell nice too. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think that's it for my questions. Unless there's anything you'd like to add about your experience here at the Plastic Jet. You liked it, right?
It's wonderful. I mean, yeah.
Look around you. What's not to love?
Exactly.
What does the swan say? I loved it too. It was wonderful. I had a great time, especially those other bands. They were great. Thanks, Devin Sinha. You were nice too. Okay.
All right.
What are we gonna name the swan?
I'll leave that up to you.
Plastic Jet Swan.
Oh, dang. Oh,
Plastic Jet Swan. Is it okay?
It's corduroy Jet Swan. I mean, to be technical about it.
But isn't there a teddy bear called Corrado?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a book. That's a children's book.
Right.
That swan could totally kill that teddy bear.
It's Rage Swan now. No, you're not. You're a loving swan. Okay, well, thank you for playing.
Thank you
to the other bands, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Plastic Jet Airline. When's our next show, Maddie? November 1st. And who's that with? Tekla Waterfield and the Sweet Nothings. Greenhorn, Bluehorn. Faint Peter. Line? No. Okay. We had a great time. We hope you did too. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to Groove-O-Matic. Thank you to all the bands. Woo! Are we good? Are we still on? Are we live? We're done? All right! Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Here's your swan back.
Thank you.
Yay!
Awesome.